Hi, my name is Anthony Guerra, and I just want to thank each of you, Jeff, Sarah, Dora, for coming in today. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy schedules to meet with me. Um, I am going to take a moment to kind of get what everybody's believes is the issue that they're coming in for. But I do want to take a moment to kind of set some of the ground rules for our interactions. The first is what we like to call the I position. It's a couple different things that we know. First and foremost, when we speak, we use I statements. So I feel like when something happens, I saw this or I said that. We're not going to look at other people and make accusatory statements, which often involve you. And then that will give us the opportunity to really get to know what you're thinking and what you're really feeling, because we really can't tell what other people are thinking and feeling. The other thing is we don't talk over each other, so make sure that you guys take turns. If you have something that's really important, by all means, you can put something on your finger if you need to, whatever it is to kind of let me know and let yourself know that you want to think about that. But before responding, I really want you to think about and listen to who the person is talking, and then we'll take a moment and each will have their turn to speak. So that being said, I just wanted to find out what brings you folks in today.
Well, we've been having some issues at home with Sarah staying out late and not returning my phone calls or my text messages. And it's gotten to where it's gotten pretty heated between the two of us. So we were just wanting to know how we could deal with that or make it better for all three of us involved.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you correctly, you're having some issues with when Sarah chooses to stay out late, and doesn't necessarily communicate maybe to you as often as you'd like, her time and location and things like that. So just maybe not checking in enough.
Right, but I just feel since it's my household and I pay all the bills and I support her and everything, she needs to understand that it's my house and my rules, and she needs to come in when I ask her to come in, not whenever she just feels like it.
Oh, okay then. So this is how you're interpreting it as kind of a violation of the rules, basically.
Right, like a lack of respect, kind of.
Okay. So appreciate you sharing. We're going to go around and kind of listen from everybody's perspective. So do you feel like that basically is what you feel like is the major issue?
I do feel that that's the major issue.
Okay, excellent. Sarah, kind of tell me how you perceive what's going on, what you think the problem is that has you guys here today.
Well, I'm 20 years old, and I haven't given her a reason, not to trust me yet. So I feel like as long as I tell her, who I'm going to be with and stuff, and, where I'm going, I feel like she should just trust me. And I'm responsible, so, there's really no need for her to, be so, restrictive with me, I guess. I'm not, a bad kid. So yeah, I feel like just a little more, I would like a little more trust. I'm already 20, so I feel like it's not like I'm in high school or anything.
Okay, and before we get your thoughts on that, we're going to give everybody the opportunity to speak, but definitely your feelings are important, so just kind of hold on to that for a moment. Sarah, I want to check in with you and make sure I'm hearing you properly.
Mm-hmm.
So for you, you feel like you're a responsible adult, that you don't get into trouble, that you do the things that you're supposed to, basically, and you're getting to that point where you deserve a little bit more independence, and trust really is kind of the deal for you, right? You feel like when people are constantly checking in, when your parents are constantly checking in, it's a lack of trust.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so once again, we're going to check in with everybody in the family overall, but I also want to kind of get, Jeff, what's your perspective on all of this, and what do you feel is bringing you guys in, and what's something that you would like to address?
Well, it's uncomfortable, to tell you the truth. It's uncomfortable now, and it's uncomfortable when it's happening. We're at an impasse as a family. We have one that wants something, the other one that wants something, and then I feel like I'm the one in the middle that neither one wants to come into. And so we're stuck. We need some help, and that's really what we're doing here.
Okay. So just to reflect back with the entire family, what I'm hearing is that, Dora, from you, you're feeling like you're being disrespected by actions of family members, Sarah in particular, not being able to come in at the times that are set, and not abiding by the house rules that you have set. And for Sarah, you feel like you've garnered a little bit more independence. Maybe those rules maybe need to be evaluated or reevaluated a little bit, and that you've earned a certain bit more trust. And for you, the big issue is that you feel like they don't trust you. And Jeff, for you, it seems like you're really trying to be an impartial judge almost, where you're trying to listen to both sides, and you're trying to navigate the conflict between the two of them. And it feels like maybe you're getting pulled a couple different directions there. Does that sound kind of like what's happening?
Kind of feels that way. I mean, I'm on the tightrope, so to speak. I mean, I want to be supportive both directions, but sometimes it's more like if I don't show support that wavers in somebody's favor, then that could be an issue. I don't like it.
Yeah, that would be a very difficult position, Jeff. Dora, I know you had some things you want to say, and I can kind of see that you're thinking on some things. You know, as you're hearing all of this, number one, do you feel like things are being accurately reflected, or what's going on with you?
It kind of, well, when she stated that she doesn't feel like she's being trusted, I didn't see that perspective. I just need her to understand that I do trust her. However, I don't trust the people around her. You know, there's crazy people out there. And that's what I worry about. Someone might do something. And then for Jeff, I just didn't realize that he was stuck in the middle. I just expected him to side with me every time because I expected his loyalty, and he just was supposed to. But now I see where he's coming from, that he's kind of stuck in the middle. He's just trying to keep the peace.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Makes very good sense,
Yeah.
actually. So, that being said, Sarah, as you're kind of hearing this from two different angles, but it really kind of regards you and the things that are going on, does it make sense that, you know, maybe your mom Dora here has some good points, that maybe it's not necessarily not trusting you, but not trusting other people around you?
It makes sense, but at the same time, she's kind of excessive with the calls and stuff. So like, I feel like even if she doesn't trust other people, like she shouldn't have to get that excessive. Because I feel like that's where most of our fights come from. Is like, she takes it like too far, and then like I start ignoring her, and that's when we start arguing.
Well, it's because all these scenarios play in my mind when she's out late, and I'm worried that she either got kidnapped or been drugged, and so I need her just to respond, even if it's just one word. I'll be home soon, or any little thing. She doesn't have to call me and have a full conversation with me. Just let me a little signal that she's okay. I don't feel like that's too much to ask for.
I guess I understand, even though those like situations are kind of unrealistic. But like I understand where she's coming from, so I will try to do that if you like trust me more. Because I feel like you don't give me like the opportunity to like you know, like I always have to come back right away, or like, you know, I don't really get to enjoy myself when I am out because I have to deal with like my phone call, you know.
Okay. And so it sounds like when you start getting a few different calls or text messages, you really react to that. But explain to me what exactly happens if you start to get a bunch of phone calls and text messages. What goes on with how you process that?
I get kind of annoyed, and I don't want to respond. Like it pushes me like to not want to like say anything. If she was like more calm about it, or like not accusing me of like doing like I don't know whatever, then I wouldn't mind like texting her back and telling her like when I'll be home and stuff. But when she starts getting all irrational, like it makes me not want to deal with it.
Okay, and so I've heard of your rules and expectations, and you know I've kind of heard how you're interpreting all of this. Jeff, where do you fall in with all of this? What are your thoughts and expectations, and how are you interpreting everything as it's going on?
I think it's crazy, right? So on those nights where it's getting later and the expectation was I'll be home at 10. 10 comes and goes. Everything starts to ramp up, right? I'm already trying to go to sleep because I have to get up early. The phone's going, the text messaging, the level of uncomfortable is rising. There's pacing, there's lights being flipped on, and why isn't she responding? And I'm just like, just let it be, but we never get there. So I just get to a point of I'm completely confused and I just don't really have any answers. Why can't we just, the 10 times out of 10, she comes home, she's fine. Why can't we just be there?
So, as we kind of look at all of these different aspects, Jeff, it sounds like for the most part, you really do, you kind of, you almost get put to the outside of this whole situation. The situation seems to be so strong with you that you end up being almost pushed out, but you feel all of the effects of it. How do you think they could maybe integrate you more into this process and maybe make you feel a little bit more a part of the family instead of just having them fight and you be the bystander?
I feel like as much as they want me to understand them, I would like them to understand a little bit about me and why I feel the way that I do. But we're not really there.
Gotcha. Now, this is kind of a little different picture of what we started with and where we are right now. Dora, what are you hearing as you're hearing Jeff? What are you thinking about as you're hearing Jeff's perspective on all of this?
Well, I understand more clearly that he's not really picking sides, that he's just trying to keep the peace, and he doesn't want to get pulled into it. And he feels that Sarah is now old enough and smart enough to be okay, and she's usually is. I just need to relax. That's what I'm getting from it.
And Sarah, when you hear Jeff talk about how, maybe you have earned a bit of independence and maybe you are at that point, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel good because I feel like he notices that I am responsible and stuff. So it makes me feel better that at least somebody trusts me or thinks that I have earned my independence. So it makes me feel good.
Good. Well, one of the things I want to look at, and kind of really the way this interaction goes, is maybe how we can better improve the communication between you two, because it seems like when an issue happens and you guys are getting escalated, that you go to Jeff and you want him to take your side, and you go to Jeff and you want him to take your side. What do you think are some of the things that maybe we could do to improve the communication between the two of you?
I think maybe from now on, I'll just, if she tells me she's going to be home at a certain time, I'll wait for her to be home at that time, and then I'll just expect her to let me know that she's running late. Is that too much to ask?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I understand a little bit better where she's coming from, so I feel like if she chills a little bit, I'll be able to I won't, how do I say this,
Be more willing.
yeah, I'll be more willing to respond to her and stuff if she's not going all crazy.
All right. And Jeff, did you have any other thoughts or anything else that you were, maybe felt like you were unheard of, or do you feel like this is a pretty reasonable conclusion?
No, I feel like it's reasonable. I mean, I'm happy that they want to give each other some leeway. This is where I felt like we should have been a while ago, but I guess it doesn't matter on a timeline, when we got there as much as how we got there. So I'm happy with the result.
Right. Well, I want to take a moment once again to thank you guys all for coming in. I think we got a very good picture of some of the ways that you guys have communicated and maybe had some expectations of each other, and maybe didn't always say those things out loud. So I appreciate you guys being open and honest and abiding by the rules. And I just want to thank you guys once again. Thank you for your time for coming in, and I'll look forward to, we'll see you guys next week. If there's anything we didn't cover, feel free to let me know at the start of next session. If not, we'll just continue on where we left off from today.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, perfect.